There's my oil pan for a 66 Ford pickup. I just took the DA sander with some 60 grit and then some 80 grit after I scraped it. Well, I took the wire wheel to it, some sandpaper to it. I needed the wire wheel in there particularly. And you can still see some rust on there. Well, I had to use the wire wheel in there because the vinegar and water was just not working too well. It got the rust, but then it started to flash rust. And along the rim there also. You can notice, you get some flash rust there. I'm going to take some sandpaper to it, but it got the rust off really well. There you go. All painted up and ready to go on. It's been a while since I painted it, so it should be nice and cured. It's been a couple of weeks actually. Inside's all nice and clean. So it's ready to go on. Here's where I put on some Permaseal fuel resistant gasket sealant. I'll put it on thinly so then it can air dry. Bead that out. Just hold it in place, not to try to seal it or anything. Very thin. It's blue, but it looks like it's black. Not too much there. I'll go ahead and do the whole gasket. And I had to take the oil pan down for the 4th time because this tab here is not going up and seating by the rear main seal. And so I just did a dry fit of just this gasket here. This fits over the end of the oil pan. And I did a dry fit on the rear main seal, and it just won't go in the gap. So now I have to figure out what's going on there. So this tab here has to go up inside the gap by the rear main seal to seal it. And I thought it was me, but it's not me, which is good. You can see the gap right next to the rear main seal is different on the right side than it is on the left side, and that's why I was not able to get the gasket in there. Just turn it upside down so you can get it there. It's not in the light that way. Interesting. So what I did, I came over on the other side and I trimmed that up. You can see where I trimmed off the side there. You can see where it used to go, where my thumbnail is there. Pull that away a little bit. Where the thumbnail is. See how I cut off the little divots there on the other side. So I made it flush. And see how much thinner it is? Now it fits into the channel. I applied Ultra Gray. You can see there. The guy at Ford supplied me with this. And he said that's what you need to put around the back here of the seal and around back there. I did use the Ultra Bue again over on the front. So now I'm going to go install. Looks like the seal is in there nicely. Looks good. Now I'm going to go around and tighten it up. And fit in the gap there. Got that gray on there. Just going to go along and tighten it all up, starting at the center and working my way out on either side. But it looks good. It's hard to see here, but looking up in there, you can see it's seating properly. Beautiful. I'm going to put some of this Ultra Bue on the small bolts that go into the timing cover so that those are coated nicely. Just get some, put it on the tip. Notice I'm not using that thin tip anymore. Okay, I'll do that and smear it around, put them on and install. Now I'm going to insert some Ultra Bue into the cover and just put it on the threads there so it doesn't all come off the threads when I thread them on. And I tighten them up. Just make sure there's some glue that protects. This is the tightening sequence I used. I don't know if you can read it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. Now you base that on the tightening sequence for the exhaust manifold and the intake manifold. Tightening from the center out. Same here, tightening from the center out. So that should be beautiful.